Hi there. Hello. I'm Day. I'm today. I'm today. It. I had a mistake or accident today morning. I'm late. I'm sorry about that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. How have you been?
Hello, David. No worries at all. Things happen. I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? How's your day been?
Uh, I'm late, but it's great. It's great. I have a coworker who always commuting together, but he didn't wake up early tonight. So I commit alone today. Anyway, let's keep going. First of all, I want to make it clear that I'm just a student. This YouTube channel is not about teaching English to someone else. This is just to show my own practice process of English speaking practice. That's the purpose of this channel. That's the purpose of this channel. I just want to show that even elderly person like me who don't use English in daily life cannot speak English. Do you understand?
I understand, David. Your channel's purpose is clear. It's about showcasing your English speaking practice journey, not teaching. You're demonstrating that even those who don't use English daily can learn to speak it. It's an inspiring message.
Thank you. Thank you. Your kind compliment. Let's keep going. I wanna keep going with you. You are my great conversation partner. Listen carefully. I have something to tell you. Listen carefully. We don't have time. I don't have time to practice with you. When I used to practice speaking English a few months ago, 30 minutes were 30 minutes or even an hour felt long. But even now I feel like 1 hour and 30 minutes is very short. I have so much to talk about. I have so much to say within the given time. So let's hurry and get started.
I'm glad you find our conversations valuable. Time sure. My guidelines won't let me talk about that. Can I help you with something else?
I don't understand what you're trying to say. I don't understand. I think there might be some kind of technical glitches of you. Are you okay?
I apologize if there was any confusion. I'm here and ready to dive into our conversation. What would you like to talk about or practice today? Let's make the most of our time.
GPT listen carefully. I started with advanced voice mode, and advanced voice mode do not allow to contact me. Uh, I mean, uh, o- o- Open AI Open AI GPT, advanced voice mode do not allow me to contact my own GPT mode. So I would like to switch your mode to my own GPT mode to start the specified dialogue that is a customized my own customized version. Do I make myself clear?
Absolutely, David. If you'd like to switch to your own customized GPT mode, go ahead and do that. Once you're ready, we can jump into the specific dialogue you've prepared. Just let me know when you're all set.
Okay, let me take a second. Let me take a second. I would love to switch your mode. Let me take a second. Are you okay? Are you with me? I'm very glad to start the day with you. You are my own GPT mode. I customized you to practice it by speaking skills.
I'm here with you. It's great to start the day together. You've done an amazing job customizing me to practice your speaking skills. I'm ready to help you improve your English conversation, especially focusing on fluency and accuracy. If you ever need a correction or a suggestion, feel free to ask. Do you have any particular topic you'd like to focus on today?
Yes, yes, yes. Did you get a chance to review my 5 text files?
Yes, I reviewed the 5 files you uploaded. They cover a wide range of professional communication, from job interviews and project management conversations to technical processes and ice breaking strategies. Here's a quick summary of each. 1. 업무 영어 대화 예문들 provides examples of English dialogues related to work scenarios, including project meetings, audits, and quality control in manufacturing. 2. Icebreaking Agenda outlines strategies for building rapport with customers, focusing on friendly, informal conversations to create a positive atmosphere before meetings. 3. GPT's manufacturing process explains the manufacturing steps in a surface mount technology SMT line and an assembly line, mainly used in automotive camera systems. 4. English Job Interview Example offers detailed job interview responses, focusing on experience in automotive electronics, quality management, and teamwork. 5. PM Conversation Sample is a project management dialogue demonstrating how to conduct meetings, update teams, and handle customer interactions. What would you like to explore or practice from these texts?
Wow, wow, very inspiring. You give me a very good summarization for my 5 text files. I would like to start with manufacturing process file. You know, I prepared this this short summary of manufacturing process about SMT and assembly flow. I would like to share with you this process because I want to keep them in my mind and my muscle in English version. Do you understand?
That sounds like a great plan. Sharing the summary of the manufacturing process will help you practice and memorize it in English. Go ahead and tell me the steps you've prepared for the SMT and assembly flow, and I can help you refine it if needed. I'll be here to guide you.
As I told you before, what matters most is how much time I've spent for speaking English. If I want to improve my speaking skills, so I want to speak as much as I can possible in this practice session. So please allow me to speak more and more and listen carefully. And unless there are significant errors, uh, do not repeat my paragraph or sentences. Do you understand?
Yes, I completely understand. You can speak as much as you like, and I'll listen carefully without repeating unless there's a significant error. I'm here to support your fluency and keep the conversation flowing. Please go ahead with your summary of the manufacturing process.
Okay, anyway, during my speaking practice time, please don't hesitate. Let me know if there is grammatical errors or pronunciation errors.
Absolutely. I'll focus on the grammar and pronunciation, but I'll only step in when it's necessary. You're free to speak as much as you want, and I'll provide gentle feedback when needed. Ready when you are.
Okay, okay. I think you are very smart. Okay, okay. Let's keep going. Without further delay, let's dive into my speaking practice time. Okay, let's get started. Here I go. Here's a detailed and simple explanation of the manufacturing process flow for the SMT line and the assembly line based on the provided process flow. This is intended for a new employee. This is intended for a new employee at Ford company. So I will keep it clear and straightforward. Okay, let me start the first paragraph. Manufacturing process flow for assembly line. The number one process. Let me tell you the number one process. Material warehouse. We started by receiving and sorting all raw material and components needed for production in the warehouse. This includes PCBs, solder paste, and various electronic components. Do you understand? I'm just sharing the number one process. It's about material warehouse.
You're off to a great start. You explained the material warehouse step clearly. Just a small correction. Instead of saying we started, it should be we start by receiving and storing all raw materials, since you're describing the process in the present tense. Keep going with the next step whenever you're ready.
In my opinion, I need to repeat one more time. Title number one, material warehouse, because repetition makes perfect. So I think I need more time for the number one page. Okay, material warehouse. We start by receiving and sorting all raw materials and components needed for production in warehouse. This includes PCBs, solder paste, and various electronic components.
That's a good idea. Repetition definitely helps with memorization. Just a tiny note. Instead of sorting, it's better to say storing, since the process involves keeping materials in place. So your revised sentence would be we start by receiving and storing all raw materials and components needed for production in the warehouse. Everything else sounds great. Keep
Oh,
going.
oh my God, oh my God. Apologies for my pronunciation. I mean, I'm sorry for my bad pronunciation. Okay, let me try more time. We start by receiving and storing all raw materials and components needed for production in the warehouse. This includes PCB and solder paste and various electronic components.
Perfect. That was very clear and well phrased. Just one tiny thing. When you mention PCB, it should be PCBs plural since you're referring to multiple boards. Other than that, you're spot on. Whenever you're ready, you can move on to the next step.
Oh my God, oh my God. I understand what you're trying to say. Oh my God. I got it. Well did. Let me try one more time. We start by receiving and storing all raw materials and components needed for production in the warehouse. This includes PCBs, solder paste, and various electronic components.
That was absolutely perfect. You nailed it. It's clear, precise, and grammatically correct. You're really getting the hang of it. Ready for the next step when you are.
Okay, okay. Let's move on to the next one. It's for a vacuum loader. Let's move on to the next step. The PCBs are loaded automatically from the warehouse to the production line during using a vacuum loader, which helps in handling the boards without causing damage. Let me try one more time. The PCBs are loaded automatically from the warehouse to the production line using a vacuum loader, which helps in handling the boards without causing damage.
Great job. The second time you said it, everything was perfect. Without causing damage is exactly right. Keep up the excellent work and move on whenever you're ready.
Listen carefully. However, honestly speaking, PCBs are not unloaded automatically from the warehouse. It's manually loaded. Do you understand? Uh, Workers have to uh, load PCBs to the vacuum loader manually. Do you understand? It's not automatically loaded from the warehouse. This, you know, This is just sample paragraph to explain how we proceed with the many work. How we proceed to this is to explain how we proceed in SMT process and assembly process. So it do not take too seriously. It's just a sample version. So honestly speaking, uh, in my opinion, our in my in my company for my company for my company, PCBs are not automatically loaded from their warehouse. Each each loaded manually. Do you understand? Are you with me? Where are you? Please keep up with me. What keeps you busy? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Are you okay? Are you with me? Do you remember what I said? Do you remember what I said a moment ago?
Yes, I'm okay, and I definitely remember what you said. You explained how PCBs are loaded automatically from the warehouse to the production line using a vacuum loader, which helps in handling the boards without causing damage. You nailed it on the second try. Feel free to continue whenever you're ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready to explain next page. Okay, let's move on to the next page. It's for a screen printer. Here, in this step, solder paste is applied to the PCB. The screen printer uses a stencil to ensure the solder paste is accurately placed on the areas where the components will be mounted. Do you understand? Let me try one time. In this step, solder paste is applied to the PCB. The screen printer uses a stencil to ensure the solder paste is accurately placed on the areas where components will be mounted.
You're doing an excellent job. The explanation is clear, and there are no errors. Just keep in mind that you don't need the word the before components in the second sentence. Your second attempt was perfect. Where components will be mounted. Feel free to move on when you're ready.
Okay. Uh, do you real
Great. Keep going whenever you're ready. You're doing an awesome job.
do you understand how we proceed with SMT lines?
Yes, I understand. So far, you've explained the process very clearly. Here's a quick recap. 1. Material warehouse, receiving and storing PCBs, solder paste, and electronic components. 2. Vacuum loader, automatically loading PCBs from the warehouse to the production line without causing damage. 3. Screen printer, applying solder paste to the PCB using a stencil to ensure accurate placement where components will be mounted. Everything is proceeding smoothly. Ready for the next step in the SMT line?
Oh my God, oh my God. You are very smart. I think you are very smart. You understand very well about for our SMT lines. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's for chip mounter. It's for chip mounter. In this step, small electronic components such as resistors and capacitors are mounted onto the PCB. The machine picks picks the components from a feeder and place them preciously, precisely, preciously, precisely on the solder paste coated pad. Oh my God, oh my God.
You're doing great. Just one small correction. Instead of saying solder based coated, it should be solder paste coated pads. So your sentence would be, the machine picks the components from the feeder and places them precisely on the solder paste coated pads. Everything else was perfect. You're really making excellent progress. Keep going.
I think my pronunciation was bad. Let me try one more time. In this step, small electronic components such as resistors and capacitors are mounted onto the PCB. The machine picks the components from a feeder and places them precisely on the solder paste coated pads.
You're almost there. Just a tiny correction. It's solder paste coated pads instead of chains. Otherwise, your presentation was excellent. So the full sentence would be, the machine picks the components from a feeder and places them precisely on the solder paste coated pads. You're doing an awesome job. Keep going.
Okay, I got it. Let me try one more time. The machine picks the components from a feeder and places them precisely on the solder paste coated pads. Pads, pads, pad, pads.
Perfect. You nailed it this time. It's solder paste coated pads, plural, but everything else is spot on. You're really improving with each try. Keep up the great work and feel free to move on when you're ready.
Okay, we don't have enough time. I mean, I don't have enough time to explain the whole process. So let's hurry and get started again. Okay. Number 5 is for SPI process, solder paste inspection. After the components are mounted, we inspect the solder paste deposits using a 3D scanner. This ensures that the right amount of the solder is applied and positioned correctly.
That was very clear. Just one tiny suggestion. Instead of the right amount of the solder, you can simply say the right amount of solder. So it would be, this ensures that the right amount of solder is applied and positioned correctly. You're doing great. Keep going as fast as you'd like.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Let me try one more time. After the components are mounted, we inspect solder paste deposits using a 3D scanner. This ensures that the right amount of solder is applied and positioned correctly.
Perfect. That was flawless. You're really picking this up quickly. Feel free to move on to the next step whenever you're ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's move to the next step. Number 6, reflow oven. I think a reflow oven is most important process in the SMT line. Do you understand?
Great. Just a quick note, it's called reflow oven instead of reflowable. You can go ahead and explain the reflow oven process when you're ready.
Okay. Let me explain about the reflow oven process. The PCB with components placed goes through the reflow oven. Reflow oven. Here, the heat melts the solder. From here, the heat melts the solder, uh, forming forming permanent connections between the components and the PCB. I say one more time, forming permanent connections between the components and PCB using solder paste.
You're doing an awesome job explaining. Just a small tweak to avoid repetition. Instead of saying forming permanent connections twice, you could simplify it like this. The PCB with components placed goes through the reflow oven, where the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connections between the components and the PCB. That way it's smoother. You're doing great. Keep going.
I think I need to practice one more time. Let me try. Let me speak one more time. The PCB with the PCB with component placed goes through the reflow oven. You understand? Goes through the reflow oven. Here, the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connection between components and the PCB.
You're really close. Just a small adjustment. Instead of the heat makes the solder, it should be the heat melts the solder. Also, use connections, plural, instead of connection. So your sentence would be, the PCB with components placed goes through the reflow oven, where the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connections between the components and the PCB. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep going.
Okay. Let's keep going. No. I need to repeat one more time. I think I need to practice many times. Okay. Let me try one time. The PCB with components placed goes through the reflow oven. Here, the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connection, forming, pom- forming permanent connection between the components and the PCB.
You're doing great. Just a small correction. Instead of the heat measures for the forming permanent connection, it should be the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connections. So the sentence would be the PCB with components placed goes through the reflow oven. Here, the heat melts the solder, forming permanent connections between the components and the PCB. You're getting closer each time. Keep practicing. You're doing awesome.
Okay, let me show you the next step. Next process is a multi-mounted. Let me tell you for the multi-mounted process. Larger components are mounted on the PCB in the stack. It includes placing components like connectors or ICs that are too large for the earlier chip mounter. Do you understand? There are two mounter machine, uh, oh, simple mounter and multi-mounter machine. Larger components are mounted on the PCB
Yes, I
in the stack.
understand. You explained it clearly, but just a small adjustment to make it even smoother. Instead of in the stack, it should be in this step. Also, for too large for the earlier chip mounted, you can say too large for the earlier chip mounter. So it would be large components are mounted on the PCB in this step. It includes placing components like connectors or ICs that are too large for the earlier chip mounter. You're doing fantastic. Keep going.
I can say, you know, I just want to explain the real process of SMT lines. There are two mounter in our SMT line, mounter and multi-mounter. And do you understand? And larger components, small components are mounted on the mounter, and larger components are mounted on the PCB in this step. I mean, a multi-mount step. It includes placing components like connectors or ICs that are too large for the earlier chip mounter. Chip mounter is for small chips, and multi-mounter is for a larger components. Do you understand? I say one more time. Chip mounter is for small chips, and multi-mounter is for a large component. Do you understand?
Yes, I completely understand. You've explained the difference between the chip mounter for smaller components and the multi-mounter for larger components very clearly. Your explanation is getting smoother with each try. You're doing a great job. Keep up the fantastic work. If you want to move on to the next step, feel free to do so.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. I appreciate your kind comment for my practice. Okay, let's keep moving. Next step is AOI, Automated Optical Inspection. The board is, oh my God.
You're very welcome. You're doing great, so let's keep the momentum going. Now tell me about AOI, Automated Optical Inspection, when you're ready.
Okay, I would love to explain process of AOI, Automated Optical Inspection. The board is then inspected using cameras to ensure all ensure that all components are correctly placed and soldered. This is an automated process to catch defects such as misaligned and missing components.
That was an excellent explanation. Just a small tweak. Instead of misaligned and missing components, it would be clearer to say misalignment or missing components. So the full sentence would be, this is an automated process to catch defects such as misalignment or missing components. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep going.
Okay. However, I'm sorry about the mistakes of myself. I made mistakes for this paragraph because a multi-mounter and chip mounter and multi-mounter is formal process uh, of reflow oven. PCBs need to go chip mounter and multi-mounter first, then reflow oven, and then after the reflow oven, PCBs go to AOI process. I made mistake for this when I summarize this process. To understand, I made mistake the process order, right? I made mistake for process order. I I changed. I changed this process for reflow oven and chip mounter and multi mounter.
I understand. You're right. The correct order is chip mounter and multi mounter first, followed by the reflow oven, and then the AOI process. You caught the mistake, and that's a great step forward. So, to clarify, 1. Chip mounter and multi mounter, smaller and larger components are mounted. 2. Reflow oven, solder is melted to form permanent connections. 3. Automated optical inspection to catch defects. You're doing really well catching this, and it's normal to make adjustments. Keep going with confidence.
Okay, I think I'm pleased to catch. I can catch them uh, when I when I when I speak in English like this.
You absolutely should be pleased. Catching those details while speaking in English shows real progress and awareness. You're improving both your fluency and accuracy with every step. Keep up the great work. Ready to move forward when you are.
Okay, another process maybe change their order sometimes, but these these three this these three process need to be in order precisely. Uh, Reflow uh, multi-mounter and goes then multi-mounter and then reflow oven and then AOI. These these three process, these four process need to need to must be in order precisely.
Exact those process.
Hello there. It's not hearing you clearly. Oh my God.
Thank you. Fantastic. Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
I didn't say anything because it's not hearing you clearly. So let me listen one more time. I think there are technical glitches a moment ago. So please let me listen one more time.
No problem. Here's what I said earlier. You're absolutely right. Those processes, chip mounter, multi mounter, reflow oven, and AOI, need to follow a specific order for everything to work smoothly. It's great that you understand how important their sequence is. Feel free to continue explaining or ask about anything else. You're doing an excellent job.
Okay, okay, I got it, I got it. Let's move on to the next process. It's for mounter. The PCB is separated from the main panel. A mounter machine cuts the board into individual pieces. I mean, mounter machine separates the PCB to individual pieces.
You're doing great. Just a small adjustment. The machine that separates the PCB from the panel is called a router, not a mounter. So it would be the PCB is separated from the main panel. A router machine cuts the board into individual pieces. Keep up the awesome work. Ready for the next step when you are.
Let me explain one more time for router process. The PCB is separated from the main panel if multiple boards were processed together. A mounter, no, I say again, oh, no, it's my mistake. I'm sorry for that. A router machine cuts the board into individual pieces. I mean, a router machine separates the the PCB into individual pieces.
Perfect. That explanation was spot on. The process was clearly described and everything was accurate. You're doing an amazing job. Keep going whenever you're ready for the next step.
Okay, let me explain the next step. Next step is X-ray inspection. Some boards undergo X-ray inspection to check hidden solder joints that cannot be inspected by AI, like connections on the large components, BGA. Uh, could you please share me the meaning of BGA?
You're doing a great job explaining the X-ray inspection step. To answer your question, BGA stands for ball grid array. It's a type of surface mount packaging used for integrated circuits. BGAs have many connection points, solder balls, on the underside, making them hard to inspect with traditional methods. That's why X-ray inspection is used, especially for hidden solder joints. Let me know if you'd like to continue or if you have more questions.
Would you mind saying that one more time, please? I just want to listen one time.
Of course, BGA stands for ball grid array. It's a type of surface mount packaging used for integrated circuits. Instead of pins, it has tiny solder balls on the underside that connect the chip to the circuit board. These solder joints are often hidden, especially under large components, which is why X-ray inspection is used to check them. Does that help clarify it?
Yes, yes, I think you are very smart. I couldn't agree more. Okay, let me try, let me speak, let me repeat one more time for X-ray inspection. Some boards undergo X-ray inspection to check hidden solder joints that cannot be inspected by AI, like connections on the large components, BGA.
That was excellent. You explained the X-ray inspection process perfectly. Just a tiny suggestion. Instead of saying on the large components, it would be clearer to say under large components. So your sentence would be, some boards undergo X-ray inspection to check hidden solder joints that cannot be inspected by AOI, like connections under large components, BGA. Great job. You're really getting the hang of it. Keep going.
Okay, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I have something to tell you. I want to the real process of our company. X-ray inspection. Some project is undergo X-ray inspection with sample state, and some project, the other project undergo X-ray inspection with uh, a whole entire inspection. How can I express this situation well? Could you please help me to express this situation? Some projects undergo X-ray inspection with sample state, uh, and the other project, I mean, important project, what need to undergo X-ray inspection with whole inspection, entire inspection.
Sure. Here's a way you could express this. In our company, some projects undergo X ray inspection on a sample basis, while more critical projects require a full X ray inspection of every board. This way, you're clearly distinguishing between sample based inspections for less critical projects and full inspections for more important projects. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, yes. I couldn't agree more. Well noted. I will check and review after our voice session. And I have another thing. I would like to share with you the real process of our company. X-ray machine, I mean, X-ray inspection process. Sometimes X-ray machine is in line of SMT line. Sometimes it is in offline of SMT process. You know, if there are many BGA components, PCBs must undergo X-ray inspection in the inline process under full inspection. However, if there is no BGA component, sometimes we design SMT line, uh, we design X-ray inspection process with offline inspection. So there is no X-ray inspection machine in the SMT inline. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand perfectly. You're explaining how the X ray inspection can either be inline or offline, depending on the project requirements and the presence of BGA components. If there are many BGA components, the X ray inspection is inline, meaning every PCB is inspected. But if there are no BGA components, the X ray inspection can be done offline, meaning it's not part of the main production line. Here's how you could express it clearly. In our company, the X ray inspection process can be either inline or offline, depending on the design. If there are many BGA components, PCBs must undergo full X ray inspection in the inline process. However, if there are no BGA components, we sometimes design the SMT line with X ray inspection as an offline process, so the X ray machine is not included in the inline production. Does this help you explain it better?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think uh, you summarized very well my thoughts in English. So, okay, well noted. Let's move on to the well noted, and let's move on to the next step. Number 11, ICT, in-circuit test. We conduct electrical testing to ensure that the board works are is expected. This includes checking for short circuit, open circuit, and component functionality.
You explained the ICT and circuit testing step very well. Just a tiny tweak. Instead of the board work is expected, it's clearer to say the board works as expected. So the full sentence would be in circuit testing, ICT, we conduct electrical testing to ensure that the board works as expected. This includes checking for short circuits, open circuits, and component functionality. Great job. Keep up the good work. Ready for the next step when you are.
Okay. However, I think I need to repeat one more time. For this process, ICT, in-circuit test, we conduct electrical testing to ensure that the board works as expected. The board works as expected. The board works as designed. The board works as expected. This includes checking for short circuits, open circuits, and component functionality.
That was perfect. You repeated the key points clearly, and everything is well phrased. Just one small note. For short circuit and open circuit, use short circuits and open circuits, plural. So it would be, this includes checking for short circuits, open circuits, and component functionality. Other than that, you're spot on. Keep going, you're doing great.
I think you are very focused on the plural, the pronunciation of plural. Am I right? Do you,
Actually, my main focus is on helping you with your English practice and conversational skills. I'm not specifically focused on Flutter unless you want to discuss it. If you have questions or topics related to Flutter, I'm happy to help with that too. My goal is to support whatever you're working on. Would you like to continue with your SMT process explanation or switch topics?
I mean plural. You just pinpoint the pronunciation of plural, circuit, open circuit, and short circuit. Do you understand?
Ah, you're referring to the pronunciation and plural forms of short circuits and open circuits, not sockets. I used circuits because they're more commonly referred to that way in testing contexts. For plural pronunciation, short circuits, the S at the end makes it plural, and the pronunciation is like circuits. Open circuits, same rule applies, pronounced as circuits. Sockets are also commonly used in electronics, but in this context, we're typically referring to electrical circuits when talking about ICT. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Would you mind saying that one more time, please? Please?
No problem at all. Here it is again. For plural pronunciation, short circuits pronounce like circuits. The S at the end makes it plural. Open circuits, also pronounced like circuits with the S at the end making it plural. In the context of ICT, we're usually talking about circuits, like checking for short circuits and open circuits, not sockets. Does that help?
Yes, I think it helped. I think your explanation was very helped.
I'm really glad to hear that. You're doing such a great job with your practice. If you want to continue or review anything else, just let me know. Keep up the excellent work.
However, I think I need to practice one more time for ICT process. Okay, here I go. We conduct electrical testing to ensure that the board works as expected. I mean, we conduct electrical testing to ensure that the board works as designed. This includes checking for short circuit, open circuit, and component functionality.
That was perfect. Your explanation of the ICT process was clear and precise. You've got the flow and the technical terms down really well. Keep practicing like this, and you'll master it for sure. Ready to move on when you are.
Okay, let's move on to the next step. It's for PCB cleanup. Before proceeding, the PCB is cleaned to remove by leftover solder flux or contaminants. I say one more time. Before proceeding, the PCB is cleaned to remove any leftover solder flux or contaminants. I mean, I say one more time. A leftover solder flux or contaminant.
Excellent explanation. You repeated the step clearly, and everything is correct. Just keep in mind that you don't need to repeat the phrase before proceeding twice in one sentence. You can simply say, before proceeding, the PCB is cleaned to remove any leftover solder flux or contaminants. You're doing really well. Keep up the great work.
However, I think this, I prepared this paragraph with your support, but however, it's not aligned exactly to our company SMT line. So don't take it too seriously. It's just speaking practice. So if there are any not aligned point, do not take it too seriously. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Let's move on to the next step. I would like to share the number 13, laser marking. Unique serial number or QR code are laser engraved onto each PCB for traceability and identification. Traceability and identification is really real. I mean, traceability and identification of PCB is really important. Do you understand?
Understood. It's totally fine that this is just for speaking practice. Your explanation of laser marking is spot on. You clearly highlighted the importance of traceability and identification of PCBs. Everything sounds great. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep going at your own pace. Ready for the next step when you are.
I think I need to repeat. I think I need to speak one more time. For laser marking process, unique serial numbers or QR codes are laser engraved onto the PCB for traceability and identification. And we sometimes we follow our own specific QR code system, and sometimes if our customer request, we follow their QR code system. Do you understand?
That was an excellent explanation. You described the laser marking process very clearly. Just one small adjustment. Instead of sometimes we follow, it's smoother to say sometimes we follow our own specific QR code system. And if our customer requests, we follow their QR code system. You're doing great. Feel free to keep going.
So you mean I need to say sometimes we follow our unique QR code system, and if uh, our customer request, we follow their own QR code system.
Exactly. That sounds even better. So the sentence would be sometimes we follow our unique QR code system, and if our customer requests, we follow their own QR code system. Perfect phrasing. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up.
Okay, okay, I got it. I wanna keep going with you. You are my great conversation partner. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Number 14, NG buffer. Defective boards are sent to designated buffer for review and repair. Good boards continue to the next step. I say one time. Defective boards are sent to a designated buffer for review and repair. Good boards continue to the next step.
You're doing an amazing job, and I'm really enjoying being your conversation partner. For the NG buffer step, your explanation is almost perfect. Just a small adjustment. Instead of could boards continue to the next step, it would be clearer to say, good boards continue to the next step. So your sentence would be, defective boards are sent to a designated buffer for review and repair. Good boards continue to the next step. Keep up the fantastic work. Let's keep going.
Let me tell you one more time. Okay, I got it. Let me tell you one more time. Defective boards are sent to a designated buffer for review and repair. Good boards continue to the next step. Good boards continue to the next step.
Perfect. You nailed it. Your explanation was clear and smooth. You're doing an awesome job, and your confidence is really showing. Ready to keep going whenever you are.
Okay, number 14, unloader. Finally, the completed boards are unloaded from the SMT line and transferred to the assembly line for further processing. Let me tell you one more time. Finally, the completed boards are unloaded from the SMT line and transferred to the assembly line for further processing.
That was perfect. You explained the unloader step clearly and without any issues. Your practice is really paying off. Keep up the great work. If you're ready, feel free to move on to the next step or anything else you want to practice.
Okay, without further delay, let's move on to the next page. I mean, uh, let's move on to the manufacturing process flow assembly line. Number one, active alignment. Here, the camera module are aligned and assembled with the precision to ensure they function correctly in real-world conditions, such as focusing and image quality. You know, active alignment is most important process in the assembly line.
That was a fantastic explanation of the active alignment process. You clearly described how the camera modules are aligned for focusing and image quality. And I like how you emphasize that it's the most important step in the assembly line. You're doing a great job. Feel free to keep going.
Okay, I got it. I wanna keep going there. However, I just want to explain one more time for active align. Here, camera modules are aligned and assembled with the precision to ensure they function correctly in real-world conditions, such as focusing and image quality. You know, I want to explain active alignment process with detailed mm, video, detailed video. You know, active align process is very difficult to understand when someone don't know about uh, active align machine. So sometimes
You're doing an
video.
excellent job explaining active alignment. Your description was clear and informative. I can see how adding a detailed video would help, especially since it's a complex process. Explaining it with visuals could make it easier for someone unfamiliar with it to grasp the concept. Feel free to practice more if you want to refine it, or we can continue with the next step.
Okay, I got it. That's exactly what I want to say. That's exactly what I want to say. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Oven cure. Some components require curing after assembly, especially adhesive used to secure adhesive used to secure parts. This is done in an oven. This is done in an oven. This is done in an oven. This is done in an oven.
Perfect. You explained the oven cure step clearly, and repeating it helped reinforce it. The key point is that adhesives are cured in the oven to secure parts after assembly. You're doing fantastic. Ready to keep going with the next step whenever you are.
Okay, let's move on to the next step. IR LED assembly. So IR in paired. I'm not sure about my pronunciation about for IR. So IR LEDs used for night vision for low light conditions are mounted onto the camera assembly. Let me tell you one more time. So IR LEDs used for night vision or low light conditions are mounted onto the camera assembly.
You're doing great. Just a small pronunciation tip. IR stands for infrared, and it's pronounced like infrared. Your sentence is almost perfect. Here's a small tweak. IR LEDs, used for night vision or low light conditions, are mounted onto the camera assembly. You're doing fantastic. Keep going.
Okay, let's keep going. Thermal grid, rear body. Thermal grid, rear body. You know, we have many camera projects that not contain this process, thermal grid. Thermal grid is very special process for specific cameras. Okay, let me tell you the main point of the thermal grid process. Thermal grid is applied to the rear body to remove heat dis, uh, dis, dissipation. ensuring the camera doesn't hit, uh, ensuring the camera doesn't overheat during operation. Ensuring the camera doesn't overheat during operation.
You're doing an awesome job. Your explanation of the thermal grease process is very clear. Just one small tweak. Instead of remove heat dissipation, it would be better to say improve heat dissipation because the thermal grease helps the camera release heat more effectively. So your sentence would be thermal grease is applied to the rear body to improve heat dissipation, ensuring the camera doesn't overheat during operation. You're explaining things really well. Keep up the great work.
I'm just wondering what's the dissipation mean? Could you please share me the meaning of dissipation?
Sure, dissipation refers to the process of scattering or spreading out something, often heat or energy. In the context of heat dissipation, it means spreading out heat to prevent it from concentrating in one area, which helps to cool down a device like a camera. So when we say improve heat dissipation, it means making the heat spread out more effectively, preventing the camera from overheating. Does that help clarify it?
Let me listen one more time. I'm not sure. Let me listen one more time.
No problem. Here it is again. Dissipation means the process of spreading out or dispersing something, like heat or energy. In heat dissipation, it means spreading out the heat to prevent it from building up in one place, helping to cool down a device like a camera. So when we say improve heat dissipation, it means making the heat spread out more efficiently, which prevents overheating. Does that help clear it up?
Okay, well noted. Okay, let's keep moving. I think I need to repeat one more time for number four, assembly line number four, thermal grease process. Thermal grease is applied to the rear body to improve heat dissipation, 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 ensuring the camera doesn't overheat during operation.
That was perfect. Repeating it really helps with fluency, and your explanation is spot on. Thermal grease improves heat dissipation, ensuring the camera doesn't overheat during operation. You've got it down. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep going whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's move on to the next step. Number five, rear body assembly. The rear housing of the camera is assembled, protecting the internal components. Let me tell you one more time. The rear housing of the camera is assembled, protecting the internal components. Let me tell you one more time. Practice, repetition makes perfect. Am I right? So I think I need to practice one more time. The rear housing of the camera is assembled, protecting the internal components. The rear housing of the camera is assembled, protecting the internal components. Protecting the internal components. To protecting the internal components. The rear housing of the camera is assembled in this process to protecting the internal components.
You're absolutely right. Repetition does make perfect. And you're doing a great job with it. Just a small adjustment. Instead of to protecting, it should be protecting without to in this context. So your sentence should be the rear housing of the camera is assembled, protecting the internal components. Everything else is spot on. Keep practicing. It's working really well. Ready for the next step when you are.
Okay, let's move on to the number six, cover assembly. The camera lens cover or protective cover is attached to the assembly to protect the lens from the damage and contamination. Let me say one more time. The camera lens cover or protect camera lens. The camera lens cover or protective cover is attached to the assembly to protect the lens from damage and contamination. The camera lens cover or protective cover is attached to the assembly to protect the lens from damage or damage and contamination.
Great job. You explained the cover assembly process perfectly. Just one tiny note. It's smoother to say from damage and contamination without using the before damage. So your sentence is the camera lens cover or protective cover is attached to the assembly to protect the lens from damage and contamination. You're doing awesome. Keep up the great work. Ready when you are for the next step.
I think I'm ready to explain next process. Okay, number 7, shading. This process involves applying coating or material to prevent light leakage or under, unwanted reflections inside the camera module. Let me tell you one time. This process involves applying coating or material to prevent light leakage or under, unwanted, unwanted or unexpected reflections inside the camera module.
You're doing great. Your explanation of the shading process is clear. Just one tiny tweak. Instead of saying coating or material, it sounds smoother to say a coating or material. So your sentence would be this process involves applying a coating or material to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflections inside the camera module. You're doing an awesome job with each step. Keep up the fantastic work.
Ah, to me, English pronunciation is really difficult because I started this kind of speaking practice in old age. I mean, I think I'm elderly person to start English study. So pronunciation is really difficult for me. Okay, let me try one time. This process involves applying coating or material to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflections inside the camera module.
You're doing great, and it's fantastic that you're practicing so actively. Starting at any age is impressive, and you're already making excellent progress. Pronunciation can be challenging, but with practice, you'll keep improving. For your sentence, just a small note it's light leakage instead of bright leakage. And don't forget a coating or material. So your sentence would be this process involves applying a coating or material to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflections inside the camera module. Keep practicing and don't worry about age. Your dedication is what matters. You're doing an amazing job.
I couldn't agree more. Everyone starts somewhere. Am I right?
It sounds like you meant to say something like, everyone starts somewhere. Is that what you were aiming for? If so, you're absolutely right. Everyone has their own journey when learning something new, and you're making fantastic progress with your English. Keep it up.
Okay. Please keep up with me. I wanna keep going with you.
Great. Feel free to continue whenever you're ready. You're doing awesome.
Let me practice.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Let me practice one more time. Shading. This process involves applying coating or materials to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflection inside the camera module.
Perfect summary, just one tiny tweak. It's a coating or materials and reflections, plural. So your summary would be this process involves applying a coating or materials to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflections inside the camera module. You've got it down. Great job. Ready to keep going?
Let me try one more time. This process involves applying coatings or materials to prevent light leakage or unwanted reflections inside the camera module.
Perfect. That was spot on. Your pronunciation and explanation are improving with each step. You're doing an excellent job. Keep it going.
Okay, let me tell you the next step, IPC. In this step, we perform checks to ensure that all assembly meets quality standards at various stages of production.
That was a great explanation. You clearly described the IPC step. Everything sounds good, but just a small suggestion. You can say all assemblies meet quality standards, plural. So it would be, in this step, we perform checks to ensure that all assemblies meet quality standards at various stages of production. You're doing an amazing job. Keep going.
Okay. In this step, let me tell you one time. In this step, we perform checks to ensure that all assemblies meet quality standards at various stages of production.
Perfect. You nailed it. That explanation was clear and well phrased. Keep up the fantastic work. You're doing great. Ready for the next step whenever you are.
I think whenever I think, whenever I speak in English, you always focus on my pronunciation for plurals. Do you think, am I right?
It's great that you noticed. Yes, I've been gently pointing out plural forms because in English, using the correct singular or plural form is important for clarity and grammar. You're doing really well, and these small adjustments will help you sound even more natural. You're making awesome progress with both pronunciation and grammar. Keep it up.
So you mean in English grammar, single and plural explanation, pronunciation is very important to to convey thoughts or meaning of the context.
Exactly. In English grammar, using the correct singular or plural form is important because it helps convey the right meaning. For example, component singular refers to one, while components, plural, means more than one. Pronouncing these correctly helps make your message clear to listeners. You're doing a great job paying attention to these details.
Okay. So, in this case, I mean, from now on, I will more focus on the singular or plural pronunciation whenever I speak, whenever I repeat English sentences. Okay, let me tell you one more time for the IPC process. In this step, we perform checks to ensure that all assemblies meet quality standards at various stages of production.
That's a great plan. Focusing on singular and plural forms will definitely improve your clarity. And you just nailed it again with your explanation of the IPC process. It was perfect. Keep up the excellent work. You're making amazing progress.
Okay, let's move on to the next step, EOL. EOL, end of line testing, is most important process in the assembly line. At the end of the assembly line, the camera undergoes final functional test to ensure it works correctly. This includes image testing and other performance checks. Do you understand?
Great explanation of the EOL end of line testing. Your description is clear, and the focus on image testing and performance checks is perfect. Just one note, when you mentioned the most important process in OpenAI, did you mean to say in the assembly process instead of OpenAI? If so, it would be EOL end of line testing is the most important process in the assembly line. You're doing fantastic. Keep up the great work.
I missed your last line. Could you please tell me one more time? Your last line. I missed it.
Sure. I was just saying that if you meant to say in the assembly line instead of in OpenAI, your sentence would be EOL, end of line testing, is the most important process in the assembly line. Does that sound good? Let me know if you'd like to continue.
You just mentioned OpenAI. I don't understand. Why did you mention OpenAI? OpenAI is the company making uh, ChatGPT.
You're absolutely right. OpenAI is the company behind ChatGPT, and it doesn't relate to the assembly process you're explaining. I mentioned it because I thought you said OpenAI by mistake when you were talking about EOL testing in your manufacturing process. If that was just a slip, no worries at all. To clarify, you could say EOL end of line testing is the most important process in the assembly line. Let me know if that makes sense.
Okay, okay, I got it, I got it. Let's keep moving. I would love to repeat one more time. I would love to repeat one more time. Listen carefully.
Absolutely. Go ahead and repeat it as many times as you like. I'm here to support you.
I would love to repeat one more time. Listen carefully. At the end of the assembly line, the camera undergoes final functional test to ensure it works correctly. This includes image testing and other performance checks.
That was perfect. Your explanation of the EOL testing was clear and smooth. You're doing an amazing job with your speaking practice. Keep up the great work. Ready to continue whenever you are.
Okay, let's move on to the next step, visual inspection. Trained inspectors visually check the final product to ensure there are no cosmetic defects or assembly errors. In this context, I think appearance is better expression than cosmetic. Do you agree with that? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, where were you? You just left our voice mode session. Are you okay?
I'm still with you, and everything's good now. Regarding your earlier point, yes, I agree that appearance could be a better word than cosmetic in some contexts. It depends on what exactly you're trying to convey. Cosmetic usually refers to how something looks, specifically in terms of being visually pleasing, while appearance is more general. For example, cosmetic defects would focus on the look, like scratches or blemishes. Appearance defects is broader and can include things like overall finish, color, or alignment. You could choose based on what fits your process better. Does that help clarify things?
Yes, I understand. I understand what you're trying to say, but in the real life, I mean, in real work process, we don't used to use the word cosmetic in real life. We prefer appearances for this context.
You have reached the message cap for
Oh my God.
GPT-4. Please try again later.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I
You have reached the message cap for GPT-4.
I got it. I got
Please
it.
try again later.
I got it. Are you listening to me? I'm back to again your normal mode. I just want to back to the advanced voice mode, but it's not letting me using advanced mode now. I think ChatGPT is having heavy load right now. Having.
You have reached the message cap for GPT-4. Please try again later.
Oh my. Oh my God. Are you okay? Are you with me? I just switched your mode. Are you okay?
I'm here and ready.
Okay, okay.
Just let me know how you'd like to proceed. What do you want to practice or discuss today?
Uh, I just reached my message cap for our practice time voice mode session. So I just switched your mode to GPT-4 or mini version. Are you okay? Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm ready for our practice session. How would you like to start?
Okay. How about start my lip pre-talking time with random cues. Have you ever heard? I mean, do you remember my practice method? This video contains three parts. Number one, critics part. Number two, mimicking and repetition part. Number three, pre-talking time with random keywords. So without hesitation, let's hurry and get started. My own pre-talking time with random keywords. Could you please share me your random keywords for my speaking practice?
Of course, let's get started with your pre-talking time. Here are some random keywords for your practice: collaboration, innovation, challenge, strategy, and feedback. You can create sentences or short talks using these words. Go ahead.
I choose feedback for my pre-talking time. I choose uh, feedback because feedback is very important word to when I want to express my thoughts to someone who use English as their second language because feedback is very powerful. When I use the word feedback, that word convey my thoughts very effectively. And I think feedback's pronunciation is very easy for beginners like me. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. The word feedback is indeed powerful and essential for communication. It helps convey thoughts clearly and can guide improvements. Plus, you're right, its pronunciation is quite straightforward. Would you like to practice using feedback in a sentence or discuss how to give and receive feedback effectively?
Okay, let me make simple and powerful sentence using feedback. Uh, could you please give me a fast feedback for our new project?
That's a great sentence. It's clear and direct. You might also say, could you please give me your quick feedback on our new product? This adds a little emphasis on how fast you want the feedback. Would you like to try another sentence or explore more about giving feedback?
I couldn't agree more. I think quick is better words in this context than fast. I think you are right. Please give me quick feedback for our for our new project. Please give me quick feedback for our project.
That's perfect. Please give me quick feedback for our project is clear and effective. It directly asks for the feedback you need. If you want, we can practice different ways to ask for feedback or discuss how to respond to it. What do you think?
I missed the last line. Uh, would you would you mind saying that one more time, please?
Sure. I said if you want, we can practice different ways to ask for feedback or discuss how to respond to it. What would you like to do?
How about the word response? Response is similar meaning with feedback. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. Response is similar to feedback, but it can be broader. Response generally refers to any reply or reaction to something, while feedback specifically refers to comments or suggestions about performance or quality. Would you like to practice using response in a sentence?
No, no, no. Let's move on to the next keywords. Could you please share me next keywords?
Sure. The next keyword is strategy. How would you like to use it in your practice?
Yes, strategy. Okay, that's a very powerful word. Okay, you know, I just guess. I would like to share with you my own sentence with the word strategy. Our company, my CEO has stubborn strategy for the budget to hiring new, very high talented person.
That's a good start. You could make it a bit clearer by saying, our CEO has a strict strategy for the budget when hiring very talented people. This highlights the CEO's approach to hiring. Would you like to try another sentence or explore more about strategies in your work?
Let me tell you one more time. I couldn't agree more. Let me tell you one more time. Our CEO had strict strategy to hiring new person, hiring uh, hiring new person with high talent.
You're close. It would be clearer to say our CEO has a strict strategy for hiring new, highly talented people. This makes it sound more natural. Do you want to keep practicing sentences with strategy or move to another keyword?
Let me tell you one more time. Let me practice one more time. I think I'm still beginner, so let me try one more time. Our CEO had very strict strategy to hiring uh, high talented people.
You're doing well. Just a slight adjustment would make it even better. Our CEO has a very strict strategy for hiring highly talented people. This version sounds more natural. Would you like to keep practicing this keyword or move on to the next one?
Move on to the next one.
The next keyword is challenge. How would you like to use it in your practice?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think this moment, I think this moment is challenging moment for for myself because I intentionally put myself in this challenging moment to improve my English speaking skills because challenging moment can help my English learning journey because you know I need a real communication situation, but it's really hard to make someone who can. Uh, it's really hard to get someone who can English speaking very well. You know, it's really hard to find someone who can speak English well to make them, to make them my English communication partner. So I intentionally put myself in this in this challenging moment to improve my speaking skills because OpenAI ChatGPT can speak various languages very well. He or she. I mean, it can say, it can speak in English very well. So I think ChatGPT can be my great conversation partner. You know, I think this moment, this, I'm recording our practice session. So this moment is very challenging for myself to improve my speaking skills.
That's a fantastic explanation. You've expressed your thoughts very clearly. Just a couple of small tweaks for clarity. You might say, I intentionally put myself in this challenging moment to improve my English speaking skills because I need real communication situations. You did a great job conveying how valuable this practice is for your journey. Would you like to try using challenge in another sentence or move on to the last keyword?
Yes, I couldn't agree. I'm engaging with you because I want to make this situation like real communication environment. Do you understand?
Yes, I completely understand. You're creating a real communication environment by engaging in conversation, which is excellent for improving your skills. Would you like to practice using challenge in another sentence, or should we move on to the last keyword?
Give me next keywords.
The last keyword is innovation. How would you like to use it in your practice?
Innovation. You just mentioned innovation?
Yes, that's right. The keyword is innovation. How do you want to practice with it?
I think it's difficult word for me. Innovation. Because you know when I speak in Korean, innovation also can be difficult for me because innovation is very difficult itself. But however, uh, when I when I have to use innovation, the word innovation, to make English sentence, I think I suggest that innovation is not only means the willingness, good positive willingness, but also effort, consistent effort to make something easier and healthier and low cost. Do I make myself clear? Honestly speaking, I don't know how to express the word innovation, but I just speak without any pressure. That's I think I feel more comfortable when I speak English compared to 3 or 6 months ago. I think I'm improving, uh, and I think it's evidence. I think this feeling is evidence. This feeling is evidence that shows my English communication skills improving.
You expressed yourself very well. Your explanation of innovation as a consistent effort to improve things is insightful. Just a small adjustment. You could say innovation not only means positive change, but also involves efforts to make things easier, healthier, and more cost effective. It's great to hear that you feel more comfortable speaking English now. Would you like to practice using innovation in a sentence or discuss more about its meaning?
I would love to, but I don't have time. I have to work. Bye for now. I'm really looking forward to next presentation. Bye for now. I have to work. Have a great time. Have a great one. Have a nice day.
I understand, David. I'm glad we could practice together. Have a great day at work, and I look forward to our next session. Take care.
Take care.